Luc Bouchard with Solvac Life Coaching Services. I've been a certified life skills coach for 22 years, and I specialize in men's issues and how men parent and how to help men become more involved in their children's lives. Welcome. Today is the 68th day of the 72-day challenge. We're in the final week, week 10. Woohoo! It is the wrap-up week. Our topic today is 3 key points on parental differences. So obviously our daily focus is parental differences. And as you know, if you've been watching these videos, I'm actually I'm covering topics that I think are noteworthy to just basically summarize and bring attention to in this wrap up week. So the 3 videos I'm going to be touching upon from the last 9 weeks in how men parent different than women is video 5, calling men to a higher purpose, video 12, how men allow their children to take risks, and video 26, father involvement, it's in a child's best interest. In video 5, calling men to a higher purpose, what the main thrust and the intention of that video was to point out that when we want men to be better fathers and more involved in father involvement, they need to know more than the why. They need to know more than it's a good idea, and they really need to be sold on the why. And having dads more involved in their kids' lives is important because, and I'm going to cover it in the third video of this, but it's important because it has long-lasting effects, and I don't think dads know how important their involvement is. I think dads have been sold a bill of goods that, you know, if they're there, it's kind of good, but really they can't nurture the same as women, and there's no research at all that says that women are better nurturers or can nurture more or more effectively. Dads can do it. The only thing that dads can't do that women can do is carry to term and breastfeed. So when we want dads to understand about that they should be involved, we need to tell them things that it's going to make a difference in your children's lives if you're there and if you're present. So every man I know knows that they should drink less and should exercise and they should just take care of themselves. And telling them to do that for themselves is really pretty much lost. They're either going to do it or not. But if you say to dads, do you want to teach your son how to shoot a hockey puck? They're going to go, yeah. Do you want to walk your daughter down the aisle? Do you want to help your daughter when she gets married? They go, yeah, I want to do all that. That's my job. That's my role. And so then the message is, well, you need to stop drinking. You need to take care of your diabetes, or you need to basically be less problematic, like be less disagreeable. Because you're not going to be around if you continue to drink and you don't get your diabetes. And if you continue to be a jerk to your future son-in-law, they're not going to have anything to do with you. So in essence, the idea here is giving men a different reason that's external to themselves as to why they should change their behaviors. And when they see that, then they're more likely going to actually do something that's going to be lasting change. That's not about them, it's about other things. In video 12, how men are allowed to take risks, is a focus on that men see risks, and men's tolerance for risk is different than women's tolerance for risk. They have a much greater tolerance for risk, and they have no problem putting themselves out there. So that's why they don't ask for directions. They'll figure out. That's why they wait till they're almost out of gas to get to gas up, because they're just like, yeah, it'll be okay. We'll figure it out. And the idea is that if men have a different tolerance for risk in their own lives, of course they're going to have a different tolerance for risk when they parent. So what we know from research is that they give kids longer tethers. They allow them to figure out the problems more. They don't go and rescue them. They will actually expect them to figure out problems and to solve their own circumstance. And because they're not seeing it as a bad thing, they're seeing it as, well, that's how life is. And finally, in video 26, father involvement is in the child's best interest, comes from the idea that being involved in the kid's life has long-standing effects on a child's self-esteem and self-worth. And there's research out there that shows that when fathers aren't involved, it has definite negative impacts on a child's belief and how they feel about themselves. So, some of the stats, and I've read these a couple weeks ago and I'm going to do it again because it feels very important, comes from Dr. Gary Neener, who's a PhD, and he compiled all this information from the States. And what he found is that when fathers aren't involved, their children are 5 times more likely to commit suicide. They're 32 times more likely to run away. They're 20 times more likely to have behavioral disorders. They're 14 times more likely to commit rape. 9 times more likely to engage in or drop out of high school. 10 times more likely to abuse drugs. And 9 times more likely to end up in some sort of state-operated institution, and 20 times more likely to end up in prison. But if fathers are involved, there's less teenage pregnancy and language development is enhanced. So father involvement is not just a good idea. It's just not something that's pleasant. It's necessary, and we see that what happens when children don't have their dads. And so dads, our kids need us, and we have to be involved and we have to be emotionally present. Luc Bouchard with Solve Act Life Coaching Services. I've been a certified life skills coach for 22 years, and I specialize in men's issues and how to get dads more connected with their kids. Today will be the 69th video of the 72-day challenge, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.